consciousazine.com Chronicles. Alrighty, it's a rainy day, so I may as well do another video. Nice and snuggled up. Okay, I wanted to do this one because I just thought of this one, and the one above it too, maybe. Okay. OP's, sorry about that cough in your ear. OP's ability to fight dis-ease. In the natural healing community, which I've been sort of, I don't want to say part of, because we're just loosely affiliated people around the world trying to delve into healing, basically, to summarize. So in the health movement, you know, there's a deeper, like, soul healing movement behind it. A lot of naturopaths will be these women and stuff, rather than just like the OP girl at the counter at a health shop, you know what I mean? The differences between going to see like her or like going to the Nimbin apothecary in Australia and like seeing a souled human and getting like really fixed, you know, and going to the root cause of stuff. So dis-ease is a word, you know, it's just in case someone missed it and thought nothing of this. Its meaning is phonetic speech. There's a lot of this phonetic speech here at the end of history, I've noticed, because organic portals have stuffed up our language as well. There are misnomer etymological roots and stuff like this in our languages. There's all sorts of problems. Maybe that's another video, OPs and language. And stuffed up language. Morons. Anyway, phonetic speech is something that's come up around the end of history here, and this is one of those words where you phonetic speech it, dis, and then I put that in there so you read it and phonetically, dis-ease, and it just gets to the root cause of all diseases, which is just dis-ease. And inflammation comes from dis-ease, yeah, from friction of all sorts, whether it's you on your own nervous system, someone else on your nervous system, blah, 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 blah. Or clogging of your lymph, blah, blah, blah. This all of it can be traced back to, you know, that it's just a general dis-ease. Inflammation and sclerosis are at the core of all this, but then back to emotions and, you know, into your mind. And that's where this is really the depths, you know, trying to give you the idea that all diseases come from dis-ease of your mind. That's the root cause, you know, some sort of dis-ease in your mind. Now, this is created from the surface virus, which the OPs are part of. The organic portals is an OP, and the surface virus is a cross-current against the flow of the universal river flow of light, or evolution, you might think of it. Okay, so they're like a cross-current. That's why they're always trying to slow, densify, harden, misdirect reality, yeah? Misdirect reality to make virtual realities, which is what archons do in people's minds, and it creates a lot of disease. Now, OPs have an introspect inability as a shaman doctor, which I am, instilled by the planet. I did not do a degree, I've just done a Bachelor of Business in double IT majors, yeah. So like, on the surface level, I'm a computer scientist type of business guy. But deeper down, I did a ghost shaman degree, I call it, because it was no paper handed to me at the end. you know, it's just the experiences are handed to me by the planet. So in my shamanistic vision of, so I'm really a good healer, because we know that the shamans of the world are always digging into the mind. You notice they always say weird little things and very novel little philosophies when you go see them for your healing, and it's always weird, yeah? It's because we're getting into your mind. And you know, when I took Salvia divinorum once, which is one of the most powerful hallucinogens on the planet, and thus being a hallucinogen, the asymptotic food of the monkey on this planet, it's the best you can get, and that and DMT, and you know, it's when it's natural, and you know, the salvia showed me that we save our memories really weirdly. And in my IT degree, I learned Adobe Photoshop. Stick with me, Adobe Flash. Stick with me for a sec. And in that, I can create little timelines. So basically, I'm God creating little men on the screen. I can move them, I can code them to do things. I can create websites and stuff through that too, but I can create games and like little timelines, like little creations, like as if I'm creating a little world in Adobe Flash. And now in that Adobe Flash, creating little timeline world games, I realized again the simulacrum nature of you know, AI to reality and robots to reality and just computers and the whole setup of all of that stuff, the robotic mechanicalized AI, blah blah blah, to reality. It's a simulacrum. IT, information technology, is a simulacrum, a higher copy of reality. And I noticed that in my visions on Salvia Divinorum, they were cartoon-like. They were all very cartoon-like. And I realized, and I had this massive epiphany in only one of them. One of the visions out of like 6 times I tried this stuff, and of the same bag, like 6 little sessions, smoke sessions. You don't smoke much of this stuff, it's so strong. And one of the times it showed me that we save information like cartoonish deep down in our cellular memory, because that is the definition that the universe is up to. It's like when you upgrade Adobe Flash to number 6 from 5.5. I was using version 5.5 Adobe Flash. Then came number 6, and there'll be a 7 and an 8. Different versions, and the definition always picks up. The complexity always picks up, because the universe is a complexity creating and conserving machine. So it's very interesting. Salvi showed me we save our memories and stuff really weirdly. So it's, I just wanted to say that because I always notice shamans all around the world say weird things sometimes, and it's like we inherently feel this from our psychedelic use. All the other psychedelics will have the capability to show you this, but for some reason in Salvia Divinorum it just came about, that epiphany, you know, it compressed and it happened in that trip, you know. Anyway, I'm going to go start again now. So introspect inability. It's like, hold on. Sorry, okay, so it's like the OPs have an introspect inability. Every time, like as a shaman healer, I was just emphasizing that I see a lot of like people, like in illness, you know what I mean? Not like I have a lot of clients, as in I just see a lot of people in illness. I understand, you know, my understanding is great of all the illnesses that's going on in the world. Um, that's what I mean. So as a shaman, like that's what I was trying to say. Like a shaman, we have shaman vision, okay? Ask another shaman; they'll know what I mean. So I just have this ability to see that the OPs don't have introspectability. It's an introspect inability. It's like you can tell them all about the disease they have and everything, but they can't seem to figure it out for themselves. And that's because the mind is missing and the mindedness, and that's what I'm trying to say. That's the whole focus of this video. The introspect inability, that their mindedness is missing. Now, I call it the soul mind, and it might be equivalent to, you know, the lower end of this might be equivalent to how it comes into your system, anyway, is through the chakras, or the dangens, more specifically, the heart, brain, the gut brain, and the crystal room in the third eye region, Eye of Horus diagram. The limbic brain area, all that, you know, because the pineal scintillates onto the septum lucidum, pellucidum, so it's like a projector, it's like a whole crystal room, you know, we call that up the top. So I think those three major centers, called Tanchens or Dangens in Taoism, I think they're the way it comes. And then there's people like Stuart Hameroff who have the theory of how he thinks that your soul is in your microtubules, I think he said, which is a level down from the neurons. And you also have, like, say there's to the power of 40 neurons, you also have to the power of 40, like, of this next layer down, the microtubules. So in the brain, in the human branium cranium, so the introspect inability seems missing, which also shows us that consciousness is not from the brain, and it's really the analogy of the radio theory. I think is one of the best simple ones to explain that. Just like the radio presenter, the person talking to you through the radio is not in the radio. They're not inside the radio yet. They're at some, you know, radio station across town, and that analogy is the same for consciousness. In my opinion, the brain's just like a conduit. The chakras work energy into the meridians and stuff like this. Understand how this all works, but basically the mindedness is missing of the OP, and they're very numb from ignorance. They're even able to have these massive cognitive dissonant emanations that I literally feel from their aura, or where the aura would be, but it's just like really emanate, nothing is there. They've got, like, it's like the planet stripped of atmosphere. It's like Mars, and OP's aura is like Mars's atmosphere, the planet Mars. And they're like numb from ignorance. They'll emanate this massive cognitive dissonance to any incoming introspect. And it's only if it's actually introspect. Now, this is where I want to talk about intelligence, I think. Yeah, in this video. Yes. Yep, okay, I'm going to talk about intelligence right now. In this video. So, in my opinion, what's his name in the wheelchair, famous physicist, Stuart Hawking. Stuart Hawking has a little quote that he thinks adaptability is intelligence. Now, in my RE, or reply to that quote on my website, www.consciousazine.com, which is down just briefly right now for maintenance. I've got to go over and do a lot of work on it, because I just finished a degree, so I finally have some time to go back over consciousazine. And in my reply to Stuart, what's his name? Not Stuart Hawking, Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking, the famed physicist, and his quote on adaptability is intelligence. Intelligence is the ability to adapt. No. Actually, intelligence it's another phonetic speech, gets you deeper to the meaning once again. That's why a lot of us hippie people are doing the phonetic speeches. Seems to get to the core of the meaning, and it's like real etymological roots, because the universe is a singing vibration, yeah? So if the universe is vibratory like that, and like the music, and you should be able to feel words. And that's why I think organic portals have created a whole lot of like dissonant words as well, which are like unreality. They're not like they don't have roots in being able to spell cast and so on, because every time you speak, you're spelling, and you're casting a spell, because that's how the universe works. Yeah, it's a harmonic thing. It reacts to your harmonics. It's all music. Okay. So what was I saying? Oh yes. Okay. So intelligence is another phonetic word, uncovery, or you can uncover it by phonetically speaking it. You can look deeper into it, and I think that intelligence is not, as Stephen Hawking describes it, adaptability, or the ability to adapt. That comes after actual intelligence occurs. And what's intelligence? Well, in Benjamin Cowlenberg's opinion, intelligence, I quoted something like this, is the ability to see into things. Then you can adapt to it, Mr. Hawking. Intendi. So it's like intelligence, actual intelligence, is the ability to see into things, and that comes from mindedness, and OPs do not have that. And this is OP universe, so it's funny, we download from soul into this OP universe here, into the third dimension. So yeah, and that's about the epiphanies. If you just go back and watch it all again, I hope I haven't said it all too confusingly. Seems pretty straightforward to me. And yeah, they're numb from ignorance, and it stops the ability to accept the feeling body. That's what else I wanted to say before I go. They are numb from ignorance, the organic portals, because, and they're very brutish like that, and that numbs the nervous system, you know. The numb from ignorance part comes from not mindedness, not being sensitive in meditation, and not taking psychedelics and so on. All the things we know. But yeah, that they don't do, and they think are not, like, they seem to wish all these things away as not worthy of their time and silly, and that these things don't do anything in positive effect or something. The aforementioned, you know, meditation, psychedelics, grounding, introspecting, so, you know, basically meditation. And they're numb from ignorance, really, and they have an inability to heal themselves and fight disease from this. And it's because you're also, my organic portal friends out there listening, it's because when you numb yourself, you can't pick up the data and you can't react to the data. And so you don't even know half the time that you're sick, is what I've noticed. It's almost like they'll have a bloody worm crawling out of their nose. That's how infested their gut is, you know, or, can't you see your round belly? What do you think's in there? You're clogged with something. What do you think is just food that's really old? Well, that too, but, you know, and it's like they have a complete ignorance to their symptoms and symptomology, because there's no introspecting ability. And they have an inability thus to fight diseases. And this is Benjamin Cowlenberg from www.consciousazine.com. Enjoy your day, hey?